Now, I want to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly of this bill because there is both good, bad, and ugly inside of it. One of the more notable items included in this spending bill was a child tax credit. According to the experts on the provision, it will basically establish a guaranteed income for families with children. Now, this obviously is not going to help every single American, but for families with children, it's going to be a very good help. This bill will increase the existing child tax credit to as much as $3,600 per child. Previously, it was only $2,000. The bill will also allow these tax credits to be given to families periodically instead of just during tax season. Families with kids under 6 would receive up to $3,600 per child. Families with children age 17 and under will receive a credit of $3,000 per child. Nearly 11 million, 1 in 7 children in the United States lives in poverty, according to the Center of American Progress. The proposal will lift nearly 5 million children out of poverty, the Columbia University Center on Poverty Social Policy reports. Now, here's the bad. Although the expansion of the support for families passed the Senate, workers, once again, were left out in the cold. 7 Democrats voted against the proposal to increase the minimum wage to $15. Of course, no Republicans voted for it, but 7 Democrats voted against the proposal for $15 an hour. Those senators were Joe Manchin of West Virginia, Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona, Jeanne Shaheen and Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire, Tom Carper, Chris Coons of Delaware, Jon Tester of Montana, Senator Angus King, the independent from Maine who caucuses with the Democrats, also voted no. Now, most of the focus has been on Kyrsten Sinema, and we're going to get to that because of how she did it. The manner in which she did it was extremely offensive. But Matt Bender pointed out on Twitter that she's not alone. He said on Twitter, quote, "A lot of people rightfully focus on Kyrsten Sinema's old tweet in support of raising the minimum wage. But did you know that every one of the 8 Democratic senators who voted to kill the minimum wage increase has tweeted out the same support of the thing they voted against?" We're going to bring the receipts. On April 28th, 2014, Joe Manchin of West Virginia said this. He said, quote, "Full-time minimum wage workers in West Virginia earn $1,257 a month. This barely covers food and housing expenses. Hashtag raise the wage." Sounds good, right? He voted against it. On April 30th, 2015, Jeanne Shaheen tweeted, "Hard-working Granite State deserves a raise. Let's hashtag raise the wage to $12 by 2020. Well, it's 2021 and they voted against raising it. On April 28th, 2014, Chris Coons tweeted, quote, "Raising the federal minimum wage is the right thing to do for Delaware's economy. Hashtag raise the wage." They love these hashtags. On April 30th, 2014, Jon Tester tweeted, 42 senators blocked a hashtag minimum wage increase that would give over 80,000 Montanans a pay raise. Hashtag MT politics, hashtag raise the wage. So all of these people voted against raising the wage, but they took to social media over the years saying that they wanted to raise the wage, Rebecca. And when they got the opportunity to raise the wage, they voted against it. The ugliest part of it all is Kyrsten Sinema because of her performance, of how she did it. It's one thing to vote against it, but to do it in a manner that is so offensive to the people, well, it's going to stick with her for a little while. I want you to take a look at this clip. We're going to take a look at the clip when we get a second of the manner in which she did it, Rebecca, which was so disgusting. Let's take a look at that real quick.
Miss Sinema, no. Miss Sinema, no.
All right, so Rebecca, what do you got?
First, I want to hear you say raise the wage because it started becoming a tongue tie for you. You started saying rage the wage. But yes, it is. When I saw
next time Sinema, you mispronounce something, I'm gonna put you on blast.
No. I was feeling it for you. I was like, dang, how many times is raise the wage in here? Because it's turning into rage wage. I get it. Because I would have, I got these races. I'd be stuck on all these words. But anyway, Sinema, I just thought that was even though it was a short moment, it spoke loudly, right? It was a short, quiet moment. It spoke very loudly because, you know, you just came from voting to hurt people, the community, you know, people who put you in office, who put you in that space. And for you to go out and curtsy and thumbs down, you know, saying that you ain't voting for it and you curtsy your behind off. You know, when it's time for you to come out of office, may we do the same thing to you. Thumbs down, your behind all over social media. I need like social media to be covered in thumbs down with a picture of her and people curtsying on TikTok in honor of her. I don't care how long it takes, whenever 22 or if it's 24. For the year that we get her out, she needs to go. And we got to make sure that this is the thing that does it for everybody. Yeah. This is unforgivable for me.
Right.
So,
No, and a lot of, you know, folks are trying to say, not a lot, but some people are trying to say, oh, it's sexist to discuss how
it's people on the Democratic side trying to pull that up. I'm like, excuse me. And it's not that it's sexist because we're looking at a woman's motions and saying, oh, this is what she was doing and it's disrespectful that she did it. So if men say that, it's considered sexist and they're, you know, disrespecting the woman and they're judging the woman. It's crazy how you guys are gonna look for an excuse. Oh, girl, literally thumbs down and did that gesture mocking the situation of the poor. And to keep people down, she mocked it. She disrespected it. I don't care what she tweeted out after the fact. I don't care what she supported before that. That moment was very telling, and that's what we should stick on. It should not be. What we start doing is reaching, right? And we're reaching with short arms at this point. If we're gonna discuss and talk about her, like, we got to call it what it is. And that was disrespectful. That was disrespectful on a whole lot of levels. Right. So we're going to be joined later on by Brianna Westbrook, who's the vice chair and executive committee member of the Arizona Democratic Party. But it was so disrespectful because she did it in a manner that was mocking. Right. It's the mockery. It's like, it's one thing for you to say, no, you're not going to get a wage or a wage raise. Rebecca, it's one thing to say that. It's another thing. It's another thing to go out there and imitate what John McCain did right before he died. Like, one of the only good things John McCain ever did was to protect the Affordable Care Act. And he went down to the Senate floor and did a thumbs down. And by voting thumbs down, he actually helped save the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. Here she comes doing the same gesture, but doing it to hurt the people of Arizona, hurting people all across. So it's not about her being a woman.
Right.
It's not. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you just gave a really good point. And that was basically McCain did it. And that's where people are coming from, saying that we're judging her gestures as being disrespectful because she's a woman. No, because of what she did. Right. Now, what old boy did, he saved the Affordable Care Act, which helped people. Right. And then you have this. Who's it going to help? Nobody. Not us poor folks. Right. The majority.
And here's the other thing, right? So here's their opportunity to literally do good. They could have passed this. There was literally nothing stopping them because they have the majority that they needed in this moment to get this attached to the $1.9 trillion. And it was Democrats who refused to let it pass. Right. Yeah. We expect this from Republicans, but when you have so many Democrats who basically look at workers across the country and say, nah, you're not worth $15 an hour. Right. How insulting is that? Right. Especially when right now the minimum wage is $7.25. You can't even buy a value meal supersized for an entire hour's worth of work in this country. And the party that's supposed to be the party of the people, right? Supposed to be, you have 8 senators who voted down. So it's insult to injury. There's some good things in this bill, but the fact that we couldn't use this moment in order to get a minimum wage increase, like, that's the real bailout. People getting twice as much in terms of their labor for an hour, going from $7.25 to $15. Like, that is a real stimulus. The $1,400 that they're about to get, and we couldn't even get $2,000, right? We talked about that pretty extensively last week. Couldn't even get $2,000. that $1,400 is going to be gone by the time it gets direct deposited in somebody's bank because people are in the overdraft. People don't have the ends. I mean, this is like a one-time deal versus people getting 15 an hour going forward. So it just shows you the values of those Democrats and the games that are being played with people's lives, man. Like I just can't imagine. I can't imagine being somebody having to work for $7.25 an hour and then seeing Kyrsten Sinema come down there, making, I think the average senator, the senators make an average of $83 an hour and they don't even go to work.
83. This is what I'm saying. Sometimes, most times they're not even there. Like they're not doing anything unless they're, there's something to sign or whatever. So I can't imagine. So $15 should be something and we should be working on pushing that up. If rent goes up, the wages should go up as well.
Period. If rent goes up, wages should go up, but wages haven't gone up in years. I mean, rent has gone up consistently every year. The cost of a hamburger, and this is what they always say, if we raise the wage, right, then the cost of your hamburger is going to go up. Yeah. The hamburgers are more expensive now than they ever been, and y'all haven't raised the wage. The gag is this. Prices
ain't no dollar burger no more.
Right. You know what I mean? It used to be $2.99 value meals. Now the value meals like $11.99 after you supersize them things. And that's what
might as well go to Chick-fil-A. Shoot, you might as well do a bid since you already broke over here and McDonald's got to pay for a McDonald's sandwich. You go right over to the quality place and spend that money. And then, be sad about spending that money. You're getting a gourmet.
You get a high quality piece of chicken versus that
if you're going to spend it.
But that's the thing, like the prices have consistently and continuously gone up every single year. And I don't know, like, they know what time it is. They know exactly what the game is. Those state Democrats, they're playing their role. They have, like Joe Manchin, for example, he's invested in companies that pay people a minimum wage. And so if they raise the wage, right, they talk a good game, but they know if they raise the wage, it's going to cost them a few extra pennies. What blows me away is that you get millions of people who are making poverty slave wages. They can't even live or survive. And then on top of that, you're giving like CEOs in the C-suite, like the executive suite. You're giving all these CFOs and all these people, you're giving them an obscene amount of money that if they just took a modest reduction in what they're making, every single one of their employees could have a livable wage, but they don't care. They absolutely don't care. They would rather that they're able to get a second yacht versus somebody on the front line of their company, making their company work, being able to live without being stressed. And the other side of it is by them paying their workers $7.25 an hour, we're subsidizing it. The American taxpayer is subsidizing these corporations. We're subsidizing Walmart. We're subsidizing McDonald's because we're helping those workers who are making $7.25. They have to get on assistance. They have to get on SNAP benefits. They have to get food stamps because they can't survive. And so the American people are paying double. Like we're subsidizing billion-dollar companies with CEOs who make millions of dollars every single year with obscene bonuses and this obscene golden parachutes. They're going to always be rich and wealthy. And here we are, the American people subsidizing them because they refuse to pay a living wage. And here you have 8 Democrats who are like, yeah, that's how we want this thing to continue. I expect this from Republicans. And at this juncture, I now expect this from Democrats. And the people are going to notice, and the people have noticed. And so you said, Rebecca, like, even if it takes 4 years, however long it takes to get rid of every single one of those Democrats, including Kyrsten Sinema, we're going to focus. I don't think they realize how petty we are. I'm going to play that clip of her almost every single day. Every time she comes on Twitter, every time every single one of them comes on Twitter, they have to be reminded that they did this to the people who they expect to vote for them in 2022 and 2024.